Hello, good day, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about my paper, my research paper, which is uh, about how one could find happiness in the view of Saint Augustine in the writing of Ethan Gilson. So, in the book of Ethan Gilson entitled The Christian Philosophy of Saint Augustine, more specifically in the introduction of that book, I was intrigued how, Saint Augustine uh, elaborate his thoughts about happiness. So many people say that the knowledge of truth may be essential to happiness. However, no doubt for Saint Augustine, truth is pursued only because truth alone makes man happy. So here is my thesis. That's what I'm talking about happiness in the view of Saint Augustine. So my thesis is the happiness found in the truth by following the will of God, which I would support with the three main points. First of all, the knowledge of truth is essential to happiness. Perhaps question could be popping out in mind, what is this truth? So in the Catholic point of view, the knowledge of truth would be attained only by following and obeying the Ten Commandments or Decalogue of the Catholic teaching. So, and also the position of wisdom of God. The position of wisdom and of God, which means doing His will. So we can find truth and happiness. This would be something that is still kind of linked to the first one that I said. It should be followed, and that's what God wants us to do by doing contemplation and meditation. Meditation in order to find the truth and happiness. God, even in the Gospel of Saint John, God Himself has stated that God Himself is the truth. The true happiness is unattainable in our present life. So St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine somewhat the same idea, come with the same idea, expressed, especially St. Thomas Aquinas, he expressed in the book Summa Contra Gentiles. So we can achieve, he said, we can achieve a kind of imperfect happiness on this earth. So while the perfect happiness is realized, while the perfect realization of happiness and truth will only be found in heaven right after this life on earth. So, I'm always being inspired by St. Augustine's words and thoughts that he stated that true happiness requires the perfect knowledge of God, which we cannot yet have in this life. So, our ultimate happiness would only found right after this life. As a believer, as a seminarian, I found my happiness through my religious belief, religion, or we can find happiness in the truth. So, what is this truth? Truth itself is God. Even as what I have stated in Saint John, the Gospel of Saint John, people aren't aware or conscious of this. Overall, I've come to realize that our knowledge of truth is essential to happiness. As the view of the Catholic Church, knowledge of truth would be attained only by following and obeying the Decalogue of the Catholic teaching, as what I have stated from the beginning. So living life with those virtues within self and put in action could help men to define what the truth is. So truth is the sign of happiness. Truths give you peace. And truth brings useful and helpful solution or answers to the problems. So the biggest benefit of telling the truth is to ourselves a clean consciousness. I believe it is required for happiness. The position of wisdom and of God, which means doing His will, we can find truth and happiness. However, the happiness that we attained here is the imperfect happiness, as St. Thomas Aquinas said. The ultimate or perfect happiness would only calm when we see him or see God face to face, and only ultimate or perfect happiness would only come when we see Him. Even so, to find the imperfect happiness means should be followed, and do what God dislikes, what God wants us to do. By doing kind of contemplation and meditation, and make well discernment in order to find the truth or happiness. God Himself is the truth. So not follow what our own desire, you know, because our desires could deceive us to possess means to keep alive in oneself of what God has granted. For example, the commandments that help us to attain happiness.